May I have your attention, please? If you have not done so at this time, please sign in and please silence all cell phones and pagers. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. This meeting of the Louisiana Tax Commission is hereby called to order. This meeting is being held at the offices of the Louisiana Tax Commission at 1051 North 3rd Street, Suite 225, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The date is Thursday, July 23rd, 2020, and the time is 10:07 a.m. Please call the roll.
Chairman Shahardy?
Here.
Commissioner Waggesback?
Here.
Commissioner Jeffers?
Here.
Commissioner Vercher?
Here.
Commissioner Wood? Four present and a quorum.
Thank you. All right, under old business, the Tax Commission hereby accepts all pre-filed documents and oral testimony into the record as Taxpayer Exhibit 1 in Globo, Assessor Exhibit 1 in Globo, and the Louisiana Tax Commission Appraiser Exhibit 1 in Globo for the July 22nd, 2020, 12:30 p.m. appeal hearing. At this time, I'll make a motion that we amend today's agenda, this morning's agenda docket, to include the appeal of Alma W. Pico, docket number 19-22173-194.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher?
Yes.
Commissioner Waggesback?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent. Commissioner Jeffers?
Yes.
And Chairman Shahardy.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and get everybody sworn in.
Good morning. I'm an attorney for the Louisiana Tax Commission. I'm going to administer an oath. I'll indicate to you to affirm the oath by stating I do and state your name for the record. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Y'all can have a seat. The chairman will call the document.
It is the Tax Commission's policy to accept all documents into the record that were timely pre-filed in accordance with the Commission's rules and regulations. This will be done at the conclusion of all hearings on today's docket. Accordingly, there is no need to formally offer or introduce the exhibits into the record during your appeal hearing. However, if you intend to object to the submission of any of the opposing parties' exhibits, you must notify the Commission at the start of your appeal hearing. As a reminder, this is an administrative hearing, and as such, the rules of evidence are relaxed. The Commission is inclined to review and consider all evidence submitted and to accept such evidence into the record. All right, at this time, we will hear the appeal of Alma W. Pico versus the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-194. This is a taxpayer appeal, so I will ask Mr. Pico, if you come forward and come up to the microphone and tell us about your property.
Hope everybody's doing okay today.
And try to talk into the microphone as close as you can. So we can hear
Yes,
you.
sir. I hope everyone is doing well today.
Thank you. Yes.
This is the problem we have. We purchased the property at $12,500 with the home and the lot. Hurricane Katrina came, destroyed the home. We still have the lot. The city of New Orleans want to charge us $19,500 off the top of my head, just for the lot. It's not a good neighborhood. It's not a good neighborhood. And we want to keep the lot. One day we plan on rebuilding with the help of Jesus. Get some money. We want to rebuild. And if the tax is too high, we won't be able to pay the yearly tax on it, and we may lose it, to be frank about it. If the grass get long as your finger, they fine you, $175 each time. So we gotta keep the grass down, we gotta put poison down to keep the grass down, because if we don't, they send us a letter in the mail, $175. That's what they charge us each time the grass get long as your finger. So that's where we standing right now. And I don't know what y'all can do, but we poor people, we trying to hold on to it best we can, but you know, if it's keep going up and up and up and up, we ain't gonna have no choice but to let it go, to be frank about it. But we would like to keep it and rebuild on it one day if we get us some money. And,
All right. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you. Why don't you have a seat and let's hear
Yes,
from
sir.
the assessor's
Okay.
office.
Good morning. The assessor's office revalued the neighborhood. The lot is currently on for $3 a square foot, which is the neighborhood value for all land in that neighborhood. It was reaffirmed by the board review, and the staff's appraisal comes out to the same value. So we feel that the tax commission should uphold the BOR's value. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCampbell?
Good morning. I'm Bill McCampbell, Louisiana Tax Commission appraiser. I was assigned the property at 4910 Congress. We did a market approach on it, and I came up with $3 a square foot, or $19,800.
Any questions?
Were those comps all within the same area? I'm not,
Yes, sir, I believe so. They're fairly close to the subject property.
is there anything that impairs the value of this property? You know, is there anything particular to this land that would impair the value of its property for development?
I really don't know, because this was done during COVID.
Yeah.
And everything was done off the computer.
Maybe we can ask the taxpayer that question, Mike, because I was actually thinking the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything on this property that kind of devalues it for any particular reason?
There's two things. After Hurricane Katrina had hit, Habitat for Humanity came around the whole neighborhood offering between $4,000 to $5,000.
Speak up, please. Please go to the
I'm
microphone.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Habitat for Humanity came around asking to purchase the properties after they were hit by the hurricane between $4,000 to $5,000. And they said that's all it was worth. I mean, it wasn't just me. The whole neighborhood, everybody in the neighborhood, that's all the offers that they was getting was between $4,000 and $5,000 for the lot. That's all they was getting. And the neighborhood is not a good neighborhood. And I didn't even want to bring this up, but since y'all done brought up neighborhood, that was January the 1st, between the 1st and the 3rd. My neighbor next door, it's a miracle he alive now. They came, he said, Floyd, they came here around 12 midnight, or around 1 o'clock in the morning, and shot his whole house up. He was on his knees praying. He said, Floyd, if I wasn't on my knees praying, them bullets would have killed me. Bullets all through the house, through the doors, through the walls. Okay? It's not a good neighborhood. But I done put a lot of money in it. My parents put a lot of money in it. And
It appears from your notes in 2016, it went, just the value of the lot went from 5 to 10,000.
then from
So
10,
it doubled, and then from 2016 to 20, from 10 19,800, double
19,800.
again.
Yes, sir. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, maybe that's a question for Russell. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
I
how
don't
we-
get it, yeah.
We went from 10 to 19.5. I realized it was maybe a reappraisal, but does property typically double in 4 years, especially in that area?
It doubled twice.
The land was, the 5,000 was extremely undervalued, so, and I understand properties don't normally double in a reappraisal cycle, however, comparable sales of vacant lots do support $3 a square foot, and I would just add that that is the neighborhood value for the entire neighborhood, all the properties, the next door neighbor, the one down the street, they're all at $3 a square foot.
Is there advantage in the land value when you have a building or structure already on it, since it may be rental or, cash flow, or, whereas opposed to a vacant lot, obviously they've got to come out of pocket to build a brand new structure,
Sure.
where you may get derive the same rental income for the most part.
I'm not really sure. That would be conjecture on my part.
And one of the, Bill, one of the comps had a for sale sign on it. Did that actually sell, or
I think it was back up for sale.
it's back up for sale?
Well, it would have sold for our comp, but some of these pictures, the only way we could find them was either off the assessor's website or through multi-lists. So that may have been why it had a for sale sign on it.
Mr. Pico, is there any flooding on this lot?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, it does flood back there. In fact, I wasn't gonna bring this up either, but I am.
Well, we need to know.
Yes, sir.
We need to
Yes,
know
sir.
all the negatives about
There's
it.
a company by the name of Nora, okay? And from me talking to the neighborhood people and so forth and so on, they say Nora is a company that's just taking people properties all over the city of New Orleans for just basically for nothing. And they bought the property next door to our lot. And what they did, they took their tractors, they took their dozers, they took everything and just tore our property to pieces. I had to go to the police. I had to let them know what they was doing. And I went to Nora, told them about it. They said they wasn't gonna correct it. It took the longest for them to stop doing what they was doing. And the police said, look, you might have to even sue them. I say, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't want to go there. But if they keep on doing it, what choice are they giving me? Eventually, they went ahead and tried to straighten it out best they could, I guess. I guess that's the best they could have done. It's still all hilly and wobbly and all waving and everything. I mean, it's not right, but I guess that was the best they could have done with it, and called themselves straightening it out. So, yes, it does flood back there, and, it's an area that we done put a lot of money in. And we try not to let it go because of that fact, because of my parents, what they done done and what I done done. We trying, but it take a lot of money to put this stuff back together. We had spoken with the company by the name of, what's that company name? The one who used to build houses in Jim Walter. We had spoke with Jim Walter. Jim Walter said they would have done it for around $40,000. When we talked to Jim Walter said, look, New Orleans is blocking us from getting our permits. We can't get our permits to come into the city of New Orleans to build anything. I said, really? They said, yes, sir. We can't. They're blocking us. We can't come in there to build. So that threw that out. Then we spoke with these other companies. They want $150,000 just to build a 3-4 bedroom house. We don't have it. We don't have that kind of money. But you never know what God got planned. We trusting in Him. something could break, you know? But they want a lot of money to put that stuff together from the ground up. You know?
Well, Mr. Pico, I
Yeah,
think
yes, sir.
I'm gonna try to make a motion to give you some relief. I don't think we can get to where you want,
Yes, sir.
just because, you know, we got our staff appraisals that support a higher number. But what I'm thinking is, let's put your lot on the lowest end of all comps that he came up with, which would be around 2.29 a foot. So my motion would be to set it at $15,000. I mean, that's really the best we can do with the evidence we have in front of us, you know.
You know, that's more than what we paid for it now. We only paid $12,500
But you
for the
paid
house.
But you paid for it
and-
back in '98, right?
Somewhere up in that time frame.
And we can't,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
we can't control what you paid for and what it's worth today. You know, those are always two different numbers, you know.
That's pretty
And
high.
I sympathize
That's pretty
with
high.
you.
Yeah, it's pretty high, but let me
I'm-
ask you this now. Once you do the 15,000, are y'all gonna come back on us again with another 20,000, another 25, 30, 40, 50,000?
It's quite possible you may have to appeal every year, I don't know. Hopefully, once we reset it, they'll leave it alone. But that may be a question you can have, you know, a conversation you can have with Mr. Russell, who's here with the assessor's office. But you know, the role is actually open right now for the 2021 assessment, so you need to kind of check the computer and see where it's at. It's quite possible you may have to appeal 2021 as well, okay? But that's a conversation maybe Mr. Russell can communicate for you.
That's pretty high, sir. That's
Are
pretty
the-
high
are-
just for a lot. You know?
Are the lots selling for that much money in your area? Based on the information we have, they are.
Well, for what, how much?
15,000.
15,000? Y'all want it for 15,000?
No,
No,
sir.
I'm not trying to be facetious, but I'm saying, see, they say all that, but when they come down to really selling this stuff, they want to give you $4,000 or $5,000 for it. In other words, when it come down to really getting to the we never tried to sell it. Okay, we never ever tried to sell this property, never, not one time. But when it come down to actually putting up a for sale sign, trying to sell this stuff, they don't want to give you nothing for this stuff. I mean, I'm being, especially in neighborhoods like that, they don't want to give you nothing for that.
Well, the assessor's office has the lot valued at close to $20,000. What Mr. Wagaspack is proposing to do is to bring it down to $15,000, which will save you, what, about $800 a year in taxes on the property. And the appraisal that we have from our staff certainly supports that. Actually supports a higher number.
Yeah,
So
typically,
I'm trying to give you some relief.
if we have nothing to
But the
work
property's worth what it's worth.
we have nothing to work with, we typically rely on staff appraisal, which they go into the field and find comparable sales. And so, you know, I think it's kind of harsh to go from 10,000 to 19,800, but according to the comparable sales, that's what your property's worth. So if we use the lowest comp, it kind of meets you in the middle between where the assessor and the staff appraisal is and where you want to be, so.
And the reason why we were asking you the questions about drainage, if you had a ditch running through it that impaired the lot, then that would make your lot less valuable than your neighbor's. Or if the street were tore up in front of it, or it didn't have a sidewalk, or had a sinkhole on it, you know, something that would impair it, make it different than the other lots. But you've not given us anything really to hang our hat on there.
Well, the only thing I could tell you is what I told you
Yes, sir.
about how they destroyed the property. It was nice and leveled out. I mean, and this company by the name of Nora, you know, did what they did to it. And how the neighborhood is not a safe neighborhood. But by us, my parents and myself, putting money into it, that's why we trying to hold on to it, you know, because we put so much into it, you know. Even though we had paid the $12,500, we put a lot of money into it, you know, doing repairs and doing this and doing certain things to it. We did, out of our own, you know, out of our own pocket. But
What would the tax bill be on a $15,000 lot, Russ?
$237 a year.
237. Yeah, but how long will that last? I mean, in other words, will that last 1 year, then I'm gonna be back next year, and then be 20,000, then 25, then 50,000, 100,000?
Well, God willing, we all gonna be here for another 3 years.
Yes, sir.
So
Uh-huh.
we've heard your story,
Uh-huh.
and it'll be an easier rule next time, so I'm gonna make my motion that we, on docket number 19-22173-194, that we set the land value at 15,000.
Second?
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagglesback,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent, Commissioner Jeffers,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
and God bless you.
thank you. And your appeal is concluded, so you're welcome to stay, but if you want to leave, that's fine too. Yeah. All right. All right, I believe the next item on the docket we'll take up this morning Just give me a moment, folks. Natalie Barnes, Natalie Lewis? That's you, okay. All right, so I think the first one, the appeals that you have this morning is item C on the agenda. The appeal of Natalie M. Barnes versus the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-090.
Is that B1 also her? B.1?
Oh. Yeah, that's still her.
Yeah, that's
So
a,
we do both
yeah.
of them?
It's item C now on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It ends in 173090.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And I think the numbering may have changed.
Yeah, and if you all could tell me which property first.
What helps you, the address?
Yes,
33381 DeSay Boulevard.
that would be the lot.
Yeah, it's a vacant lot.
Okay. I've been owning the lot since 2007. I bought it with the house adjacent to it. The lot actually has a garage on it that's on dual properties. So it's on the lot and it's on my primary property, 3122 D-Sachs Boulevard. When I bought them, I bought the whole package for $160. Went to the assessor at that point in time to have it assessed. It was gutted and empty, and that was an issue in a fight in 2007. Again, I bought it for $160 for both properties, both lots and house. Now we're at $400 and I think $3,000. I repaired it in 2013. I've been living in the property since 2013. Fairly high property, it does retain water, does not flood. It is an old structure that was moved in 40 or 50, and it is,
Ma'am, excuse me, but we're talking about an empty lot
Is-
next to your residence?
I'm sorry, correct,
Okay, I think we have to do one at a time.
one at a time.
Yeah.
Or each assessment one at a time, so I guess we need to focus on just the lot right now.
So when I bought it, again, I bought it in one package, 2 separate tax bills, that was $12,000 at the time. Now we're up to $48,000 on the lots, and I understand new construction, sales. But my understanding, and I've dealt with the Orleans Parish Assessor's Office for many years, trying to get understanding. First, it's about the dollar of the square footage, then it's about the dollars of the square footage of the land, and then it's about the dollars of the square footage of the structure. Well, you increase the value, well, the lot, again, like I said, I understand houses are selling appreciation to land, and I can accept that. But when it went from $9,100 in 2018 to $48,000 in 2019, that's quite a bit of a disparity. And to say that I have a house sitting next door and there's just a structure on it, and to say we're gonna raise that one because, again, from what I understand, I had an appraisal done on the house next door, which reflects land value, structure value, what have you. It hasn't been taken into account because they tell me it's $385,000–$400,000. Again, through the appraisals, it wasn't that much, and that was in 2017. Again, we had new construction. I've lost ground for the new construction behind me. They built a whole new, pretty much, subdivision. So my shifting of my ground, I have sewer, a sewer drain in my driveway. So I have a lot of unsettling ground. I've had to add dirt to my land. I'm still adding dirt to my land because I'm retaining water on my property now. When I bought it, I wasn't. Now I am.
What value are you asking for today?
I was thinking
For the
that
lot?
for the lot, at least 30. To me, that would be reasonable.
And you purchased it for $9,100.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was in 2007, though.
2007.
Right. I'm just trying to get that part straight in my mind, because we keep going from structure to back to land.
Yeah, well, see, when I bought it as the building and the land, so it's kind of one to me.
Okay.
The unsettling and the repairs, you talk about having to get the property back to, in its proper condition. How much you think you'd have to spend to get it in proper condition?
Probably, well, the dirt is about 800 a load, and I've used one load of dirt, and I think I need, they said, 3 or 4 more loads.
And how much of the structure is sitting on this lot?
Half of it,
Half. And
Half.
so the lot is encumbered by half of the structure.
yes.
All right, and then the structure is being assessed on the adjacent lot.
I could not tell. When I had it appraised in 2017, they told me that it was supposed to be conjoined because the fact that the garage was sitting on both of the properties.
So you got some impairment there.
Right, yeah, no doubt.
So I even called the city to try to conjoin them because I want to do construction, not construction, but I want to make it my yard. I want to put a pool in it. I want to fence it. But because they're structuring it as a separate lot for investment per se, because at $98,000, that's the only person who can buy it at this point, because
Yeah, you,
the assessment
Well,
is
nobody
saying
could-
98 for the lot.
Well, unless you moved your garage. or
Garage,
whatever, I don't know
correct.
that you
So
can
it's
sell
no
it.
value to anybody at this point but me. So $48,000, $98,000, crazy
yeah,
to me.
I think you have some impairment value because you'd have to tear down that garage to really resell that lot. So that plus the unsettling of the dirt and the additional work to get it right, you know.
I think you're a little low at 30, though, to be honest with you.
Well, again, the neighborhood, the development behind me, the new development, when I had it appraised, they were doing that new development. And I asked the appraiser, I said, well, with this new construction going on, how does that play with my property? And she explained to me, and currently I think she works for the Louisiana board or whoever. She explained to me that because I have an old structure, land is one thing, but because I have an old structure, my house could never be at the value of the new structure.
Correct.
The new structures are 385 to 430. Mine right now is 402. I'm right in the middle. So that held untrue.
But if that lady said, okay, I'll buy your lot for X number of dollars, I'm sure y'all had that conversation. What did she tell you?
Well, no, we didn't have that conversation because it was never my intent to sell my lot because it's my lot next door to my house with my garage, and I intended to make it my living space. So again, if somebody did say, I'm gonna give you $98,000 for that lot, I may really have to sit down and consider it,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at 30, it's mine, and I want to make it comfortable to where I'm used to living. Again, in New Orleans, I've seen or I've heard that we're taking big houses and we're making them condos. So that's doubling the value right there, because now it's a $150,000 condo at the top of this house, and it's a $150,000 condo at the bottom, makes it a $300,000 house. And we never had that before. But we get investors in here who's doing it, and it hurts the people who built the city. We are losing our people, our culture, our foundation every day. Every day. I have 11 properties in the same neighborhood. 4 blocks this way, 4 blocks that way. And in the past 15 years since Katrina, I have watched my properties go from $4,000 to $8,000 to $15,000. And now all of the lots are $20,000+. And again, as the gentleman said before, I only bought them for $30,000 and $45,000. But we get investors coming into our city. They can buy for $30,000 because they come from New York, they come from California with 6-figure jobs. We don't have that here in the city. We never had it. The biggest salaries was postal workers. And now postal workers need 2 incomes to live in our city. And it's taking everything that we have out of us. We don't have services. All of my properties, none of them have streets. None of them have drains. None of them have curbs. But I'm being charged the same price as my counterpart who has curbs and gutters and drains. Most of my properties all have water sit on them when it rains. But I'm in the middle of the block. The city, they paved it, but they paved from the top to the bottom, so the water runs to the sides, don't run to the drains anymore. That's probably why we're getting so flooded, and the drains don't even work. So they can't let the water go to the drains, because then it's more flooding.
Okay.
What we do? What are we doing here? I talk to people often. In my profession, people are hurting. The more the taxes go up, the more they can't do, the more none of us can do. I don't know. And then again, old structures to new structures. All these people coming here, they taking them down, building them, strapping them to the studs. Same old structure, but putting up new. They $200,000, and we only paid 30 and 40.
So if we can get you to 30 here, you'll be okay? You'll be satisfied?
I'm satisfied. So where is the building? Because again,
We're only talking about this lot,
Right.
only about the lot.
Yeah, we need, yeah.
Let's hear from the assessor's office and see what they have to say.
So there is a garage in the back corner of the property, probably roughly about maybe 50 square feet, juts out over the property line. I'm not sure when that was done, because you're not supposed to build over lot lines. It's a separate lot from the taxpayer's primary residence, which was subdivided probably around 1950, 1940. So it's been 2 separate lots of record for a number of years. Someone just illegally built the garage over. The property value at $48,000 is the neighborhood value, well substantiated by comparables, and is actually half the value of the staff's recommended appraisal of $98,000. We're asking the tax commission to reaffirm the Board of Review's value at $48,000. We think that that is reasonable and fair, considering it matches up with the equity of the rest of the neighborhood, and it's half the value of a fee simple appraisal. And that's all, that's the only comment we have.
Thank you. Ms. Palmer, want to tell us about your appraisal?
The market value that I came up with was $96,000, and that was comparables pretty well close to that lot. The garage I took into consideration on the adjacent property that she owns the house.
And there is part of a garage on this lot? Is
I'm
that
sorry?
correct? There is a part of a building, a structure?
There's, when you pull into her driveway, her house sits here, and there's a garage at the back, and part of it juts out. If you look at the aerial map in this one, this is her property right there, and you can see at the very back, that piece that juts out is the garage that comes over there.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
And I know we're getting maybe ahead of ourselves, but the land value used on the house was what?
48. She didn't contest the 48 on her.
Right, so
On her
so it's
house.
uncontested, that's what the assessor has, but the lot next door that has a part of a garage on it, we're at 96.
Yes.
And that's the problem when when the land is
Right,
inconsistent, that's the problem.
The house next door, I'm sorry, the whole house next door.
Okay, let's not get to the house next door.
Yeah.
We need to stick to the lot, okay?
I know
Yeah,
it's
we're
kind
gonna use that information, we just,
Well,
Yeah.
I'm
We have put-
speaking of the house adjacent to my lot. The whole house and the lot is $168,000, but my lot should just be worth 98.
So my thought is if the lot on the residence is worth 48, and we have some impairment next door in that lot, then I think the 30 is justified.
I do too.
All right, do we have a motion?
Are we through? Yeah, I would move on docket 19-22173-090, based on the information that we've heard from the taxpayer and the conclusions we gathered from the storage building being partially on the lot and encumbering it, that we accept the taxpayer's request, set the land value at $30,000.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent, Commissioner Jeffers.
Yes.
And Chairman Shahardy.
Yes.
I just want to make sure you're not opening all those envelopes to present stuff, huh?
Well, there is some stuff in some.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, I don't think we even need to go through them, because when I went to the assessor's website on yesterday, some of them seem to have been revalued.
Okay.
All right, well,
I think it's
let's get to the next item on the agenda. The appeal of Natalie M. Barnes versus the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-091.
Again with DSAC, I thought I had appealed the value of the land again, because, again, the progression of what had happened through the process of the land being increased to 48.
Well, what we're talking about on this is 3122 DeSay Boulevard.
Yes.
Is that correct? All right.
Correct.
What we're talking about here is the residence, which is on there, which is, we're looking at the total value of the property, is what we're looking at. So it's a question of whether the $363,000, excuse me, the $402,400 from the Board of Review is correct, or if you think it's incorrect, we have our staff appraisal, which is lower, $363,000.
And I noticed you had an appraisal done in 2017 for 320.
Yeah, I thought it was 285.
The notes at the Board of Review said you appeared with an appraisal of 320.
Okay.
Keep in mind, we've given that storage building, we impaired it on the lot, it has value on this.
So it goes to this.
That's basically what we're
Okay,
saying.
then we're fine then. I can accept that value if you're giving me. Well,
Which
let me
value?
ask you this.
Which
The
value is
structure of
that?
The deterioration of that. I've had, again, structure issues. I have the from the new construction, I have now floor joists. I had a structural engineer come out. He said the structure is fine, but I have floor joists that's loose at this point, that's giving way. So with that being said, that needs repairing, and this garage structure, needs to be torn down. Let me see if I have those pictures.
Ms. Barnes, did you say you were comfortable with the staff value of what, 363,000?
I am.
Okay,
I
let's-
can't find
let's not-
everything.
Let's
you
not
know,
talk
if-
ourselves
if-
out of it, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you take a seat? If you're comfortable with that number, then let's go ahead and take a seat, and let's hear from the assessor's office.
Okay.
The assessor's office has no objection to the tax commission's staff appraisal.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Palmer?
The market value that I came up with was $363,000 on this one.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Unless there's questions, thank you. All right, do we have a motion?
Chairman?
Yes.
I'm prepared to make a motion. I move that on docket number 19-22173-091, that the 2020 fair market value be set at the LTC staff appraisal, land at 48,000, improvements at 315,000, for a total of 363,000.
Second?
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagglesback,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent, Commissioner Jeffers,
Yes.
Chairman Shahardy.
Yes.
I'm sorry, are you from the city? I guess somebody could answer, what do I need to do with this lot and this garage situation? Because again, like I said, I wanna do personal things to it.
We
and
have to talk to
can I with
the,
the-
you need to talk to the city of New Orleans. Yeah, we're not authorized to get into any of
Go
that.
to the permitting office. Start there.
Yeah, permits department. All right, the next item on the agenda, the appeal of Natalie Lewis versus the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-092.
He'll tell you what it's good. You ready?
Pardon me?
You ready for it?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready, go ahead.
Which property?
Oh, that's gonna be 2734 Republic Street.
Okay,
So you Natalie Lewis and Natalie Bourne.
I was Barnes when I first started getting houses, and I'm Lewis now. I was
Okay.
Masters before then.
Okay.
Okay, 2734 Republic Street. I would consider it a duplex. My mother had an office in the front, and she rented the back. The back is still currently rented as residential. The front holds all of my paperwork, all of my rental stuff, and all of my property stuff and my business stuff. When I looked at this one in comparison to the other properties in the neighborhood and the structures that was more of a storefront back in the day per se, the value differentiated throughout the city. There's not very many of these buildings left, and I think mine is probably in the worst shape of the ones that I did see. There's, in my area, in this particular area of Republic Street, there was 3 storefront buildings. So I gave appraisal, or I gave the depiction of those and the values of those opposed to mine. And there was some disparities in there.
Had you seen the staff appraisal which set it at 200,000 total value?
No idea.
Does that sound reasonable?
That does sound reasonable.
Okay, just checking.
No, so again, I didn't get all of,
Because I see your request was 173,000,
and that's right about
and
close. So
200's there. I'm not sure what the assessor's thoughts are on it. Maybe we can hear from him.
But you're comfortable with the $200,000
Yeah.
value? All right. Why don't you have a seat and let the assessor's office come up?
The assessor's office has no objection to the staff's recommended value.
Thank you.
I'm Bill McCampbell with the Louisiana Tax Commission. I did the property at 2734 Republic, came up with 200,000. Total value, 16,000 on the land, 184 on the improvements.
Now, Russell, y'all had a different value on the land.
Not sure. Which value?
Your land value was 26.7. The staff appraisal was 16,000.
Well, we have no objection to the total overall value of the 200,000. We'd asked that for equities argument, that we keep the land rate the
Keep the
same as the
land
neighborhood.
consistent.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to make a motion then.
Please do.
As it pertains to docket number 19-22173-092, I would move that we set the value based on the LTC staff appraisal. However, that we set the land value at $26,700, improvement value $173,300 for a total value of $200,000.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent, Commissioner Jeffers,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes.
Excuse me.
All right, we'll now consider the appeal of Natalie Barnes versus the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-093.
and if you could tell me what you all have it assessed at, and
170,000 is what I'm seeing.
that's fine.
So I figured you weren't going to have to open up those envelopes.
Thanks.
The assessor's office wants to go
Oh, I'm
behind.
sorry.
Yeah, I gotta let them.
Slow down.
Assessor's office has no objection to the staff's recommended value.
Bill McCampbell with the Louisiana Tax Commission. I appraised the property at 1662 Dual Street, 170,000 total, land 30,500, improvements at 139,500, excuse me.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move that on docket number 19-22173-093, that the 2020 fair market value be set at the LTC staff appraisal, land at 30,500, improvement at 139,500, for a total of 170,000.
Second?
Commissioner Vercher,
Yes.
Commissioner Wagasback,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent, Commissioner Jeffers,
Yes.
and Chairman Shahardy.
Yes. And I'm going to have trouble pronouncing the name on this one.
Brookdale?
Remenek,
Oh, Romanek
Romanek.
Incorporated.
Appeal of Romanek Incorporated versus Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-094.
Brookdale's,
Industry.
okay, Industry is a lot. We had a house on it. It burned at Katrina. Again, it's not in the best of neighborhoods, but I'm holding on to it. The value again on this one jumped Right now, I think you all have it at 12, but I think the average in the neighborhood is 9,100 based on this lot.
Are you okay with 9,100?
I'm fine with the 91.
Okay. All right, let's let the assessor's office come to the microphone. It's all right. And other times, we have more than one microphone, but given the pandemic, we're having to adjust.
Property industry was valued at $2.50, which is neighborhood rate, which is the same it's been since 2016. We ask that the tax commission uphold the board review's valuation at $9,100.
I'm Bill McCain with the Louisiana Tax Commission. I estimated the value of the property at 1866 Industrial Street in New Orleans at $12,800 or $3.50 a square foot.
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
Docket number 19-22173-094. My motion is to uphold the parish board of review values, set the land at 9,100. There's no improvements, so the total is 9,100.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagstaff?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent. Commissioner Jeffers?
Yes.
Chairman Shaharda?
Yes. All right, the next item on the docket, the appeal of Natalie Barnes versus the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-095.
1659 duels.
Because all of these again are in the same neighborhood, when I compared the lot size to other ones in the neighborhood, it was higher. But based on the value that we've been given, pretty much my other structures that are right in the same 3-block vicinity, I guess they need to be valued at whatever the neighborhood is. And I'm not certain, I believe that was between $25,000 and $30,000. So again, I guess I have to accept the $30,500 lot value.
Okay. All right, well, let's hear from the assessor's office.
The property is currently valued at $30,500. That's the neighborhood rate at $6 a square foot, which was affirmed by the board review and supported by the tax commission's staff appraisal.
Bill McCain with Louisiana Tax Commission. I estimated the value of the vacant land at 1659 Dual Street at $30,500 or $6 a square foot.
We have a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Jeffers?
I move that on docket number 19-22173-095, that the 2020 fair market value be set at the Board of Review, land only at $30,500, zero for improvement, for a total of $30,500.
Second?
Commissioner Vercher?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagstaff?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent. Commissioner Jeffers?
Yes.
And Chairman Shaharda?
Yes.
That's
Sorry.
All right. Did you all come to some consensus?
We'll bring it up after this one is
Oh.
finished, and then I'll point it out.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, the
28
next one is, let me enter it formally.
Okay.
The appeal of Remanex Incorporated Masters Real Estate and Tax versus Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 19-22173-096. And let me ask you, so I'm over here.
So
Okay, that's all right. Are you Ms. Barnes or Ms. Lewis? What name do you
I am
prefer?
currently Lewis.
You're Lewis, okay, all right. Because different appeals have different names.
Yes,
So-
again, they were all in different times of
Yeah,
my
I
life.
understand, I get it. All right, Ms. Lewis, go ahead.
Again, this is another one that's in the same area. Could you tell me what you all have?
137,000.
Okay,
And you requested 118.
plus the 118.
The assessor was at
That's what you-
151.
Wait, the assessor's at
151, 6, 151,600.
And I've been paying, and that's another thing, I believe I was a catalyst for taxes going up in this neighborhood, because I have all of these properties. And when Katrina hit, I got this SBA loan deal, right, and they made me value my properties at 150. Because I got a loan, but none of them was worth 150, so that's where the 150 stuck from in 2005. I've been paying $150,000 on all of these properties.
Don't be telling us you think your property's worth 150.
I'm sorry?
Say, don't be telling us you think your property's worth 150.
No, I'm just saying, that's what I've been paying
I-
since 2006.
Well, you
Okay.
fixing to get a
because of
reduction?
the SBA.
You fixing to get a reduction, I believe.
Yeah,
Praise Jesus.
all right.
I can accept that, Lord.
All right, let's hear from the assessor's office.
Well, in lieu of this new information, the assessor's office has no objection to the staff's appraisal.
Thank you.
Bill McCampbell, Louisiana Tax Commission, estimated the value of the property at 2840 Roulette at $137,000 total, $16,900 for the land, and $120,100 on the improvements.
We have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move on docket 19-22173-096 that we accept the LTC staff appraisal, set the land value at $16,900, improvement value $120,100, for a total value of $137,000.
Second.
Commissioner Vercher?
Yes.
Commissioner Waggesback?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood is absent. Commissioner Jeffers?
Yes.
And Chairman Shahardi.
Yes.
So the assessor and the taxpayer were talking. She has 2 appeals for this afternoon,
Mhm.
and they were requesting if we could amend the agenda to go ahead and finish up with her other 2
Okay.
remaining appeals. And I can
So,
go grab the packets right
If you
quick.
can, yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay.
Do we want to stay live, or do we want
I
to?
can pause the record. Huh? One of these 2.
Okay, you just need to do that.
Yeah. I just need to go get it. I'm gonna pause the record.
All right, we're still live, folks.
I'm gonna pause it.
What's that?
I'm gonna pause it.
Oh, you are? All right, we're going to take a quick recess. We'll be back in just a few minutes.